All right, we're back. We're live. So I have two internets here. That might have been the issue.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So,
Oh, this thing, it'll stay.
huh?
I said if I can get this thing to stay, the phone,
Is it sticking
that
up?
might work.
There you go. Okay, cool. How's your connection sound and feel? Feel okay?
Yeah, I think it's all right.
All right, it looks a little bit slow, but just keep it there and we'll see what we can get done today.
Okay,
Yeah. All right, cool. We got a viewer.
I can try and, if you want, I can try and reset the router real quick before we get going.
No, it seems to be doing better now. Like I have this thing that like shows me it
Okay,
says, yeah, it looks like we're all right. Looks like it's pretty stable.
okay.
For any viewers that might have questions, go ahead and comment your questions. Holy moly, science nerd, dude. Do you remember that guy?
Do what?
Do you remember science nerd?
Yeah,
He used to comment like way back.
yeah.
Science nerd, how's the connection for you? How does it seem? Does it seem okay? He said this came in just while this is happening to me. Okay, cool. This came in just while this was happening to me. Got it. All right, he said connection seems good. All right, so quick introduction because the last video didn't work out quite too well. All right, so Mick and I decided that we're going to start this program together. We are going to take on, because I genuinely believe this, okay? The only other coach in this industry is the Potts coach, and she does well. We're not going to say anything about her. But I truly believe that between Mick and I, the two people with the most experience in this realm are him and I. So we are going to full send the coaching program. If you guys want in on the coaching program, go ahead and email me at the email down below. Mick is another coach, so we're not just like relying on just me anymore. There's other people that are involved. My coaching program's a little bit bigger now, but we are now accepting more people into the Potts coaching program. Right now, what we are going to do is we're going to open up spots to 10 people and see how this works. So any 10 people that are serious about getting their life back. We don't want anybody that is like on the edge and like that wants to sulk in their shit. If you're serious about getting your life back, you're serious about getting your health, you want to get back into fitness, you want to get back into wellness, you are the person that we want to talk to. We do not want to talk to you if you're a person that is sulking and just not serious about it. Right? Fair to say, Mick?
This is yeah. I want to say something on that. Like,
Yeah.
I know Justin knows, everybody else out there knows when you have pots that it's not easy. And usually 9 out of 10, the people that will get are the people that are just at the point of like, I don't care what it takes, I'll do whatever, just help me. Because that's when you really start to make changes in life, is when it gets bad enough. And that's just
Yeah.
normal human behavior. But then along that process, you're going to start to get better and things are going to change. And that's when you'll think, oh, I'm good to go. And that's normal too. Like there's normal for it to kind of relapse and relearn. And for me personally, when I got better, I did things intentionally to make myself worse so I could learn more about how my stuff worked. So you're gonna suffer and it's gonna suck, but it has to make sense. So on our end, the one thing that we'll be tracking is whether you're making progress. Now, if you come into this and you lie to us and say, yeah, diet's on point, this is where my water's at and stuff, but it's not, that's on you. Uh, there's a point where we can say and do everything that's going to help and it'll make it better. But at the end of the day, each and every moment and every day, that's on you. So you have to be able to pretty much just kind of drop your guard and give us everything to really help. And that's, I think, if you can do that and you can get past the embarrassed part, or you can get past the giving up part, then you're good to go. If you don't have anything left, but this has to change, this has to get better, that's when people get better.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly right. So we're taking on up to 10 more per person right now. And yeah, there's a free challenge down below, link down below. It's in Facebook. It's going to be a 14-day free POTS challenge. It starts next Wednesday, so the 9th. Is that what we said it was? Yeah, the 9th of July.
Yeah.
Make sure
nice.
you guys go ahead and you join that free challenge. It's going to be open to current clients and anyone that is a potential client or just needs help, period. So it's 14 days for free. You get to, pick our brains, and you get a bunch of resources that we only give to clientele, things of that nature, for 14 days. And yeah, that's the end of that. So now that we've taken care of house, we are going to talk about POTS and adrenaline dumping, because I think that this is one thing that a lot of people. Yeah, go ahead.
I have one thing to say on top of that. Yeah, I have one thing I want to mention that's particular. Just like the POTS coach, she's really good at what she does. And I think each person adds a unique perspective to this that helps in the whole fundamental societal change of dealing with POTS syndrome, or things like that. This is just our human way of learning as a society. This is where we'll grow from here. In 10 years, this will be a completely different situation. It'll be more common. People know about it. People will be progressing a lot better. So I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I don't know. It'll come back. But
I think I was
with this stuff, like yeah, that's what it was. When I originally went to Justin, or when we originally talk about training, it's like hiring an electrician. You're hiring somebody that's specialized in something because they have spent the time and resources building and creating and learning and crafting that particular thing. So when you take us on, it's proven methods that we've went through personally and with people. So that's really what you're after here, is that knowledge. And then eventually, after enough time, you gain that knowledge, and keep that in mind when you go through this program too, because your time is just as valuable as ours. But that's where we really want to stress that. Like, we're not here to baby people and just pat them along the way. We're here for people we work with to get better. And so there's a very clear line we're good at communicating when that line's not being met. But our intentions here in the community are to help and assist.
Yeah, 100%. Cool.
I think there's just certain things I'm initially worried about going into this again, but I think it'll all smooth out.
Oh yeah, dude, it'll be fine. Everything's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, like I'm a seasoned coach. Mick is a new coach that's onboarded on now. So we can help more people. And so yeah, this is all par for the course. We're willing and ready to take on more people. Yeah, because there's a lot of people suffering. This channel has seen over 40 some subscribers in the past freaking, I think, 40 days or something like that. So definitely people are suffering and people need help. So if you need help, reach out, go join the challenge in the description below. And with that, let's talk about adrenaline dumping. So why don't you give us a descriptor real quick of like the new client that you just took on and what's been going on with him, so that we can kind of like jump into this. Everyone with POTS has experienced this adrenaline dump before.
Yeah, adrenaline dumping can be hard to notice. The first part of working with people is getting them to recognize what things are. So a lot of times you'll get people that don't even know that they're having an adrenaline dump, or that, when they got cut off in traffic and it got really intense and they got overwhelmed and started having issues, they didn't know that moment when that happened, that was their body reacting. Their central nervous system is just on hyper alert all the time for everything. Anything from a noise to a certain argument that goes in a stressful way, in a unique stressor. money or troubles at work may not set you off or trigger you, but an argument in your relationship may. So you're looking to identify the little things that you're reacting to. And then you want to adjust that, because we're looking to calm the central nervous system so that we're not adrenaline dumping all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll give a brief little tidbit of like, actually, I think that I recently was going through this adrenaline dumping, which is something that I've never experienced. Well, actually, I probably have, but recently for me, I was getting ready for an ultra marathon. So I prepped for this ultra, and I wasn't treating my body well during that. I was still doing CrossFit and prepping for the ultra, so running tons of miles a week. And then I wasn't eating enough to sustain any of that on top of that, right? So getting closer to my ultra marathon prep, I was losing so much sleep because by the time my head would hit the pillow, I was exhausted. But then boom, everything was on fire. The lights were on, everything. And I was like, holy crap, why can't I sleep? And then suddenly it'd be like 3:30 in the morning, and I have to get up at 5 o'clock to go to work, to go like train people in person. And so I realized like, oh my gosh, this is what a lot of my clients describe as adrenaline dumping, and that the reason that they can't get good sleep. And so
Right.
I personally have gone through this, and I have fixed it. Again, I recently just fixed something like this, right? I don't think mine was due to POTS, but I think a lot of people can actually experience this. It's not just POTS exclusive, right? So like if you're not treating your body right, if you're in fight or flight all the time, you can have this stress response known as adrenaline dumping, regardless of if you have POTS or not. And there's good ways to fix it. So one of the things that I personally did to fix my issue was that I got on a regular sleep wake cycle. And it didn't matter what the thing was. Like, it didn't matter if I went to bed at 3:30 in the morning or 9 o'clock at night. I just knew that I needed to get up between the time of 5 and 5:30 in the morning every single day, regardless. Because what that was doing was it was resetting my circadian biology. So my cortisol, I wouldn't allow it to basically like to not spike in the morning. So I would make sure that I woke up in the morning so that cortisol would start to be produced and be released. And then by the time that nighttime came, my melatonin production was actually like back in rhythm. So another thing that this does is that if you keep that wake cycle, the sleep wake cycle, the same, okay, there's going to be a point where eventually you've lost so much sleep that your body can't do anything besides go to sleep. Like, it just literally can't do it. And your job is to stay awake and not take a nap. So like if you went to bed like me at 3:30 in the morning, and then you had to wake up at 5:20 in the morning, your job is to not take a nap and to go throughout your normal day. It's going to suck. It sucks a bag of dicks. It's the worst thing ever. But your job is to stay awake so that you are so exhausted that by the time that you want to create as your new bedtime, you lay down and you're out, period. Have you had that experience?
It won't be perfect at first. Oh yeah, and it won't be perfect at first. You're not just gonna, okay, I'm gonna get up at 5:30 every day. Like, every person's different. So some people have different sleep patterns that they naturally go off of better. So if you got to find your sleep pattern too. And I think a lot of things about having POTS is adjusting life. Yeah, that could be anything from your career to your relationship to you, or how you handle a situation. So when it comes to sleep, you've got to force it into a box that says this is the time I'm asleep, and then the body's like, all right, fine. And you're going to go through the suffering phase, but that's one aspect of fixing sleep. It's not the fix, it's one aspect of it. And you have to keep all these aspects in check to efficiently and effectively deal with it.
Totally.
Nothing easy is worth it. You know what I mean? Or nothing worth it is easy.
Yeah. And that's also not to say that that's going to be like the case forever, that you have to stay on this sleep schedule.
Right.
But so to my second point that I want to make like abundantly clear in this video is that like this sleep cycle will also help regulate your brain's association with where you sleep and why you're there in the first place. So like another common denominator for people, and Mick brought this up in the lap when we just tried to go live, was that you're tired, you're exhausted throughout the day, blah, blah. You might even fall asleep on the couch. But then as soon as you go to your bed and your head hits the pillow, you're like, boom, everything's on again. Like you're awake, and like you're anxious. You can't help but like be in it. Right. So what's happening there, and like because of the sleep stuff, I like looked into CBTI a little bit, right? Like cognitive behavioral therapy for sleep, like that type of thing. And something that I found interesting was that like subconsciously what will happen is that your brain and nervous system associates your bed now with awake time, because you have been like, you've laid down, and so much you've laid down in that spot where you can't fall asleep, that now your brain's like, nope, this isn't where we sleep. And so like the most helpful thing to do in that situation, it seems counterproductive, is to, if you have that adrenaline dump when you're laying down and you can't fall asleep in your bed, to not lay there for more than 30 minutes, to get up, go walk around, and then to like go sit on the couch or something. And if you fall asleep on the couch, then that's where you stay asleep, because you have to get that clock going again. Like we talked about before, you have to get that rhythm back. Like this is the time that I go to sleep and this is the time that I wake up. And if the couch is where you end up falling asleep, amazing. It's not a long-term solution, but that's where you're going to sleep. And then we're going to re-regulate and go back to bed and figure out how to fall asleep in the bed.
Yeah, because we're looking to recover the body first. Like the body needs certain things, and it gets those things from sleep. If you don't get those things, it's going to be harder to fix other stuff. So at the beginning, we get whatever we can where we can, kind of, almost.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, it's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, because in the beginning is the hardest. You're looking to recover whatever you can to move through and build.
Well, you need sleep, right?
Yeah,
and like so many people,
and with POTS specifically, and when you deal with the central nervous system or the autonomic system, sleep it's crucial. It's like your water intake daily for POTS. Your water and salt and your hydration, it's crucial. Without it, you can do everything else right, but you're going to have issues 100%.
Yeah, totally. So many people that like I talk to with POTS, they want the quick fix in terms of supplements and stuff. And I know that I've done a lot on this channel and like talking to people about like recommendations for supplements. But I have really found like as I've kind of progressed through this, that like the most important things are to get the lifestyle factors in check before you actually start supplementing. Because like the supplements will help you with like getting, you know, a little bit more drowsy or like maybe getting deeper sleep. But if you can't fall asleep in the first place, there's no supplement that's just going to knock you out.
And when you have POTS long term, because we do, when you start out having POTS, you, like me, you could start out having one job, one career, and then throughout the length of having POTS, discover that you don't work for anybody anymore. You have your own company and stuff, because that stuff suits your lifestyle better. And those little things and those stressors are important to keep in check. So it's easier for me to have a company and deal with those stressors than it is to work for somebody and deal with other stressors.
Yep, 100%. Yeah. So, science nerd, is this all making sense, dude? Are you still here with us? Yeah, I think that that's a good point, dude. And then the last thing, so like I guess adrenaline dumping isn't exclusive to sleep either, right? So there's like people who like have adrenaline dumps throughout the day. And well, I guess one last touch point that I'll say that helped me out a lot when in terms of like getting to sleep. I was listening to a podcast about sleep, and a funny thing that was brought up was that this dude was like, take yourself for a run. And I was like, what is that? I was like, what does that mean? Or for a walk. And he said, when you're in bed, if you have a walking path that you know about, that like you are super familiar with, literally in your brain, take yourself for a walk. And dude, the first night that I tried that, boom, asleep, knocked out. You know how people like say like count sheep?
I go to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. You do? You have good sleep now?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, I'm finding out I have sleep apnea, but I've
Mm,
I've found that there's different levels and layers to sleep. So when I first had POTS and I started addressing sleep, I was going after melatonin and other stuff to make you sleep. Well, if I take magnesium, that relaxes the body, right? The more I relax the body, the more intense the dreams or everything else. So
yeah.
adrenaline dumping. So then I learned that if I calm the mind, I calm the body and I calm sleep.
Hmm.
So then I went more towards other things like working out, it whether it's yoga or working out in general or just working throughout the day. I would do
Mm.
something physical enough to induce an exercise basically, whether that's picking up boards and moving them over or whatever. That different factors that help the sleep. I think in general,
Yeah.
it's I think my headset just died. Um my sleep's not too bad. Um but finding a way to reduce the inflammation in the body that's in fight or flight all day, that helps your sleep. But when you go to sleep, whether it's listening to classical music or you do yoga before bed or, some other factor to calm the mind, that's what's
Hmm.
going to help sleep the most with adrenaline dumping. You're not going after making the body sleep, you're going after making the mind sleep. So going for a walk before bed is good. And if you're getting into bed and you're instantly hitting obsessive compulsive thoughts that are a lot of fear based, then that's where you really want to concentrate on training yourself to, when you're in the bed, it's sleep and relaxation. And when you're not in the bed, that's when you can deal with that. So it's kind of like training a dog. You're training yourself, you're training your mind, you're training your body to reset. And that's where it helps sleep the most.
Yeah, I agree. So I think that
Yeah,
something that
I
you
agree.
just said was like something that you just said was like super important, and I think will hit a lot of people is the obsessive thoughts thing. I think that's where a lot of people
Yeah.
like have issues is that they get like these obsessive thoughts and then it like just takes them down a rabbit hole, right? Like it's like anxious thinking. And so
Yep.
you have to somehow learn to redirect, right? You have to redirect from there and like
Yeah.
learn to, like you said, like calm the mind, calm the body. And I think that that's where a lot of the stuff that we were just talking about comes into play. Like you have to you have to get on the regular sleep and wake cycle, because that way like you're going to be in a position where you're just so exhausted you can't even entertain those thoughts. You can't even entertain any of that stuff
Right.
because your body's just going to go to sleep, right? So like all this like compounds together for sure. That's a really good point, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Um
in the
yeah.
beginning, especially, like when you don't have control, basically, you're kind of at the will of your mind and your body almost. You have to implement things that will overtake that. So if that means using binaural beats to get into meditation, or um, there's classical music that's proven to reduce anxiety, like using
Mhm.
those things in those moments, those will help because it overtakes and it's something to concentrate on and take your mind off of thinking. So then you want to really practice concentrating on and being in the moment of those things so that it can help reduce and kind of pull back the anxiety, because once you pull back the anxiety, you pull back symptoms.
Yeah, totally. Yep. Science nerd
Yeah.
said when the dump gets bad, I will get shaky. That's what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I have had and have a lot of adrenaline dumps. I could name like a lifetime of moments that were just adrenaline dumps without even knowing it. And I've always been a really intense person. So being shaky after an adrenaline dump or getting cold flushed or like damn near passing out just from something that happened, whether you get cut off in traffic or somebody's upset or somebody reacts and they're emotional a different way. Um, and adrenaline dumps can be really weird too. If you put me in a situation where a car crash just happened and there's this horrible scene, I don't get adrenaline dumps. If I'm in traffic and somebody cuts me off and gives me the finger, then I'm probably going to get an adrenaline dump. Um,
Hmm.
so adrenaline dumps can be horrible, but there's a lot that come with it. So start realizing where your adrenaline dumps are. So if you basically have like muscle twitching, um, something that's probably happened your whole life, or your eye twitches, or your mouth twitches, or you tick, like, like there's things that come with it. And that's the central nervous system that's so stimulated that it's finding avenues to let it out through a muscle twitch, through a tick, through a stutter, through a heightened state where you're just constantly jumpy. Like, think of it as energy. It's looking for a path to go because it's getting built up and it's got nowhere to go. So we want to find positive avenues to have those places go so that the body can go, okay, when this happens, this is what I do.
Yeah, that's a super good point too. Shoot, that's a really good point. The best that I ever
Yeah.
felt, and like I reflect on this sometimes, the best that I ever felt was when I was walking like 20K steps a day and working out twice a day, because I had so much
Yeah.
release all the time. Now, that's definitely not to say
Yeah.
that
You have,
everyone should do that.
no, because there's a balance to it. There was a time where I was lifting really heavy and just putting and going to work, 10-hour days and just physically working all day. Like, but there's a balance to it. When I look back now, I can see the times where I overdid it and what happened to the body. Like, for
Yeah.
example, um, I'll go work out, and then after a workout, I'll have to take a piss, and it'll hurt like hell.
Hmm.
And it confused the hell out of me. I asked many trainers and stuff about this, and it turns out that with the dysautonomia, basically the central nervous system's overstimulated, and because of that, it causes, I'm going to screw this name up because it's a medical name, interstitial cystitis, which is an inflammation in the urinary tract. And so that's where you'll get that inflammation. So then it's a point where, like, you would look at it as like you go to the doctor, you say, I have this condition. What do I do?
Hmm.
Doctor's going to say a medicine or something or blah, 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 right? So what's the root cause of it? Okay, it's overtraining. So then if I add in something before training to reduce the effects, or to reduce, I don't know how to say this right, almost reduce the ability of the central nervous system to activate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because when you work out, you activate the central nervous system, creates load, creates cortisol, all this stuff happens. Well, it's stimulating the central nervous system. So if I have something that I take before it or in my daily routine that's a natural supplement to help me negotiate that period to get through that, then eventually I can work myself out of needing that thing because I've built up an intolerance, which is essentially what you did. You built up an intolerance to the conditioning.
You cut out, bro. Can't hear you. Can you hear me? Can't hear you. Can you guys hear him? Try talking, Mick.
Okay, I think it's
Okay, I
fixed.
can hear you now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Okay. You were saying built up a tolerance to the conditioning.
Yeah, I mean it, and when we started, Justin was like, "Look, this is not going to progress like you think it is. So take your expectations and bring them down to about 10%." And so I brought him down, but the progress that you're going to go through this is a very slow, meticulously crafted process. And this is strictly designed to not crash you. It is very easy to create a crash in the beginning. If you overdo it by a couple reps or another session on the elliptical or pushing your walking, your crash can come from anything. So we have to build up that tolerance first. And that takes usually what, about, you think 3 months, I'd say?
Yeah, I think it's different from most people. The success rate that I have is usually getting people to a good spot about 6 weeks. 6 weeks is usually where it's like they're at least feeling better.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like a couple months to like 3 months is where like normal exercise happens, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also people that like are listening, you know, and like doing what they're supposed to be doing, you know.
Do what?
When it's also like just people who actually listen and do what they're supposed to do. Those are the people that
Your
find the most
mic's really
success.
muffled.
My mic is?
Yeah. Is there something loose?
No, is it better now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's also
I
people
didn't
who
hear
are
anything.
like, yeah, people who actually listen and do the things that they're supposed to do, don't do anything extra, and then like actually follow through. Because for POTS, it's important that you create the stimulus in order to like handle daily life instead of like lacking, right? So there's a specific reason why it's like 2 workouts within a certain period of time and then X amount of break. There's a certain, you know, and then you progress from there. And some people just want to throw that stuff out with the bathwater, and they're just like this doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I can just kind of do it however I want to do it, you know. And it's like, no, there's reason behind it. So yeah.
I mean, and this is to add too. I want to add this. There's been multiple clients that have extensive background in lifting and training and all that stuff. They've
Yeah.
tracked their macros, that every little detail that you could learn in weightlifting and conditioning, they know. And so if somebody that has that much knowledge in it doesn't understand the correlation between the two, that's where, specific to POTS, that training comes in.
Yeah.
That's where it's really valuable. And once they learn that and start to see that, then they start to open up a whole new avenue of training, because now they know where their threshold hits. They know what happens when they push past the threshold. They know how to adjust to curb the symptoms and reactions they get from overtraining. They know how to
Yeah.
recover from a crash. Like, there's really important factors that go in there. And once you start learning and seeing that stuff, you can gain control of your life again. That's where it
Yep.
gets really, really good.
Yeah, totally. 100%. Where did we
and that's where the fear goes away too.
Yeah, I think that that's the thing too, is like a lot of people deal with anxiety of what could happen. Well, not a lot of people, basically everyone with POTS deals with that anxiety. What could happen? What if this happens? What if that blah blah blah, you know what I mean? And that's why they're partially in the position that they're in the first place. But the important thing to remember is that when you're in that position, like the only way that you get over it is by doing stuff to get over it. Like you have like, what if my heart rate gets to 180 during a workout or whatever? Well, you got to go work out to try to see if that's going to happen. Like you can't just sit in your bed and say what if all the time, you know?
It's that's probably the biggest, hardest part of this whole thing. It will be, because, and from personal experience, like walking into the gym or going to do something, like, oh shit, like, I gotta go. He wants me to go do this bike. I know it's going to be intense. I hate that bike. It takes so much for me to do that bike. I'm scared I'm going to have an issue in the gym. I'm going to look bad, or like, something's going to happen. Like, you just go through it. Go through it slow. If you get to a point where you feel like it's too much, just stop, man.
Yeah.
Just stop. And don't listen. Don't take your watch with you and watch your heart rate the whole time. Ignore that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just go. Leave the watch at home, experience your symptoms, slowly build up.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of people, I think too, one of the biggest concerns that's not really talked about, and it's like a secret concern of people, is that like, what if this is embarrassing? What if something
Yeah,
happens that
dude.
embarrasses me? Instead of like actual real life concerns. Like they're scared more of like external factors of like, what are people gonna think if this happens to me, rather than like, what if that thing actually happens? Or like the probability of that thing actually happening.
Okay, you know me, and you know I love to share the realest, just real stuff you can get with this stuff.
Yeah.
And I have mast cell activation. So this is the level of acceptance you want to gain. You want to get to this point. I'm not saying you want this event to happen because it sucks, but you want to get to this point where it doesn't affect you. So I'm on a job site with a crap load of other tradesmen, anywhere from electricians to plumbers to HVAC to pipe fitters, everybody. And there's probably a few hundred on this site, right? I shit my pants 3 times. Now, when you think about shitting your pants when you get older, do you think you're going to be aware of it? You don't understand how it really goes. So when you have mast cell, you can get that symptom that happens, and a reaction can create like just moments that you're not ready for. Being on
Damn.
that site, I didn't care. I didn't care at all because of 2 factors. One, this condition and everything you go through, nobody's ever going to relate to. Nobody's going to know about this stuff until 10 years from now. That's when people will be like, oh my God, that's horrible. I can't believe it. And then it'll be more well known, right? 2, I can't control anything. And apparently, what was going on there was affecting me in a negative way to not be good for my condition. So I had 2 choices. I could leave the situation, or I could eventually force myself out. Because that's what happens in life. We either do what we need to do, or we end up doing what we have to do because we need it. So you want to get to this point with this condition where you don't care about other people around. If you need to, carry a card, put it on your Apple iPhone and your medical history and stuff. When something happens, hand somebody a card. This is my condition. I'm having a medical issue. That's all you need to do. Like, if even that. But you want to get to the point with this where you can accept every situation, from shitting your pants on a job site at 40 years old to um, going to the supermarket even though you know you're going to be overwhelmed. Like, if you're overwhelmed, you walk out, you hang out, you relax, and you go back in. Maybe you only got 1 out of 10 items today. Doesn't matter. You're introducing yourself to those situations so that you can get used to them.
Yeah, totally.
Bless you.
Wow, that's crazy, dude. I didn't know
We
that
don't
happened.
run from stuff. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
I always
holy
got the
crap.
good stuff.
Yeah, yeah, you do.
Right.
Yeah. No, I
But
think
I mean, that's the thing about us and what we provide. Like, I think it's important to have that unlimited access to the real side of this, because going through this is not easy. No, not a lot of people can relate yet. You know what I mean? But it's growing.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it seems like it's getting like more. I don't know. I don't want to say popular because it's definitely not popular. It's getting more like prevalent.
It's getting. I think people are realizing it's a lot more common, and people with it don't realize they have it. I have my grandma had it. She never knew about it. I have
Mhm.
it. I'm the first one to find out. My mom, my 2 second cousins, and my other cousin all have it. So they
Damn.
don't deal with it or know about it, but it's not at a point yet where it's so bad that they have to. They're just not at the point where they've suffered enough to address it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. um okay, so I think that something we should go over is, so I have a client who like kind of gets adrenaline dumps when she goes into the gym and stuff. She gets like just random dumping. And so I think that it would be super helpful to talk about how to deal with adrenaline dumps like throughout the day, like random adrenaline dumps. And one way that I have seen that has been super helpful for people has been to what's it called? To like practice breath work. So there's an app that I have personally. I use it every single night before bed. It helps me sleep. I just like doing it. But I've recommended it to a bunch of clients at this point. It's literally called Breath Work, just without the O. Breath, WRK, all one word. And so what I recommended to her, because she wanted to stop going to the gym because of these, like, the dumping or whatever. I told her, when you have this issue at the, like, I still want you to go to the gym. I need you to go to the gym. But when you have this issue, just who gives a shit about what other people see or say? Practice your breath work in that moment. And she hasn't complained about going to the gym since. So I think it's really helpful to do at least 5 minutes of breath work stuff. If you are going through like a crisis.
And with your breath work, if you're new to breath work and you're starting out in breath work, just take your time. Like,
go slow.
Don't jump in and go straight full bore. Like you have to build your lungs, you have to build the linings around your lungs, your muscles that are going to get exercised. Like, you got to understand with the condition you have, not disease, not, you know what I mean? Like, it's with the condition you have, everything you do is going to take a toll on your central nervous system. So everything you do, walking, running, breath work, exercise, there's going to be a limit. You got to find where you're comfortable with and build from there.
Yeah. Don't go full Wim Hof right away.
Yeah. And another thing to note too, if you're an ice bath person, cool. If you don't like ice baths, don't do them. Don't force yourself into things where you don't fit. I cannot handle an ice bath. I was not built to go for ice baths. I was built to go for hot tubs and saunas. I stay there. I don't try and Wim Hof anything.
Yeah, I don't think that everybody needs to do that shit either, to be honest with you. I think that sometimes people get caught up in the, oh my gosh, it seems so beneficial for everybody type of thing. Like, holy crap. Like, I even did that, and I was big on ice baths and sauna and stuff. But sometimes it can be too much of a stressor than it is an actually good thing for somebody. You're back.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, it starts ticking and then it just goes, I can't hear on my end.
Oh, weird. We can't see you. It's dark.
Yeah. I don't know why though. There we go. Okay.
There it is. Sweet. All right, guys, I want you to drop some comments and give us some questions if you're just like joining in right now. I see that a few more people have just joined in. Drop us questions, drop us concerns. We want to be here for a little bit longer just to answer some questions if you have any. Go click the link in the description below and join our 2-week free POTS reset challenge. This 2-week challenge is going to absolutely help you if you do everything that we recommend in it, and it's free. So I would definitely take advantage of free while you can have us free. Do you think there's anything else that you feel is important to mention in here?
No, I think keeping it adrenaline dumps. Yeah, I think keeping it adrenaline dumps would be good. I think that's a good place to start.
Cool. Yeah.
I don't know if it's our first time back. Is there anything we kind of need to address or talk about, or
no, I
one-on-one
think
training? Do you want to talk about that, or?
Yeah, we can talk about some of that. So again, guys, I want to stress real quick. I want to stress that. Oh, go for it.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to stress that I really, really do recommend you jumping into that in that 2-week challenge, period. Because a lot of you guys are suffering and you're at your wit's end and you want to take action, but you don't really know how or what to do to take action. And that 2-week challenge is going to absolutely point you in the right direction. So with that, Mick, go ahead, say whatever you were going to say.
Well, with that too, like, take the opportunity while it's there. Like, I mean, this goes back to the whole, like, you hire an electrician to do electrical stuff because they specialize in electrical things. Could you do it? Yeah, I'm sure at some point you could get there, right?
Mhm.
Not all people can, but with the 2-week thing, it's an offer to help people get started and then show the benefit and build something. When it comes to one-on-one training, like when I started, when everybody starts, everybody wants one-on-one training. One-on-one training is more difficult because it takes an extensive amount of time. And when I started, I didn't want to do group training. So I opted to pay for the one-on-one training. But with the one-on-one training, I understood a few things when I entered into it, that it was very valuable time for me to use. So if I sent a question or had an issue, I was understanding that I was taking that person's time. And at the beginning of having pots and stuff and getting started, it is a very, very rough road, and it can require a lot of questions, a lot of re-answering questions, a lot of do this, and then later on you're like, okay, I said do this, because in the beginning of pots we can't keep our shit together. That's why we're here. We need help. So with the one-on-one training, just remember that when we do the training, everybody has time. So as we go through it, when we get to the point of like, hey, you're not as available as I want you to be and stuff like that, that's because we have other things and we have lives that we have to deal with as well. That was one thing I wanted to mention. But I do understand that there are people out there that are like, I don't care. I'll do whatever you want to do. I want to pay for exclusive one-on-one training. We're not against it, but we've kind of figured out a structure that we'll do with the one-on-one training. I don't know if you want to start out talking about that, Justin, or if you
About
want me to just
one-on-one
go with
training and
it.
how it's structured.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know where to start. So basically what will happen is go ahead.
Well, I have an idea if you don't want to run with it.
No, sure. You can go ahead. I'll add in whatever I feel like I need to add in.
So essentially, me and Justin have talked about this before, and both of us, we're kind of the same people. As we're good people, we want to help. And when you're a good person and you want to help, it can be tough sometimes, because a lot of people in this community need help and they should get the help that they need. But it's not always the easiest factor. So what we've done, money wise, is we blended the both of us into one package. So essentially, you're going to get time with me that I have to manage as we go through the training. And as we go through the training, you'll also have access to Justin's information, everything he's built, everything that's created, all the forms, all the content you need. And that's how both of us have decided to kind of tackle this one-on-one training. So for a majority of the training, I'll do the one-on-one, except for Justin has his clients that he keeps with him that he's had for a long time. So those clients will remain with him. But as we go through this new process, outside of the clients we have for ourselves already, we're going to add on the training through that perspective of giving you guys time with me so that we can get through the initial phases of it, so we can get to the long-term, less intensive part of the training where we're not always needing to talk all the time. And that's where we're going to help facilitate that need with Justin on the training. Does that make sense, or was that too long-winded?
No, I think that was pretty good. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, some things that we could add in is with the new structure of like how the program is going to work is like, yeah, so you can look at it as like, I'm the head coach, like I have the systems and everything in place. And then Mick is like the touch point. So if you have questions and you need management and stuff like that, he's super knowledgeable. He has a bunch of this stuff under wraps, under control. So he's going to be like main touch point for a lot of people. But the benefit that you'll get from like the program as well is that there'll be 1 to 2 Skype calls per week that everyone hops on, and then you get to ask your questions about, you know, what to do in certain scenarios, whatever, within like, it'll be like a 30-minute to an hour twice per week that we just go in and freestyle live Q&A like that. Along with the program though, there's like tons of resources. I've just gone back to creating resources. We have 6 already that I've been working on. We have the sleep reset resource, what to do when you don't have access to certain testing, like how to check for symptoms and stuff, for like gene mutations, things of that nature. What additional tests you should get, you know, after being diagnosed and why you should get those. The full POTS reset, which is basically going to be the 14-day challenge. It's going to be part of the 14-day challenge. The POTS food elimination guide. And so it's a food elimination plus how to reintroduce foods and in the timeline and how you do it. And then the guides to stepping based on like how symptomatic you are. So there's 6 different guides that we've already like taken the time to create for you guys. And so the stepping guide is going to be automatically within the 2-week program that we're talking about. The free one. So the steps, I think, is like one of the most important things to get under control when you are diagnosed with POTS and you're not very active. I think so. That's going to be a free resource immediately. It's going to be put in on the wall. So you guys will have access to, like, I guarantee you, I will go out on a limb and say here that we'll have the most comprehensive POTS protocol for anyone to follow that anyone has ever released, be it like even Mayo Clinic or any of these people.
I gotta be honest, like you gotta understand, like when it comes to what's the training for POTS that everybody says you should start with? The CHOP protocol, right?
CHOPS, yeah.
So when you take something like the CHOP protocol that was developed, and then you take all these other factors about POTS, so take all those, line them up, right? Now take the important parts from each one and build them together. That's what all of this stuff is built off of. And this isn't built off of like creating an AI, pulling all this stuff in, building this stuff. This was built off of proven methods, tried experience, time, and previous clients. Like this has been built through a multitude of people. And if you know one thing about POTS that your doctor will tell you when you get diagnosed, the first thing they tell you is your treatment and your stuff is not going to be like anybody else's stuff. Your treatment is going to be different. If you need a medicine, it could be a completely different dose. There's people on propranolol that are real high doses, and then there's me that's on a really tiny, minimal, skewed dose that it just works that way. So this stuff wasn't just AI picked and crafted. This was proven, trialed methods, and I honestly haven't seen a more comprehensive or well-built way to communicate everything you need with POTS than that's in this. So it's really exciting, and that's where it's easy for progress to come. That's why the stuff we do works so well.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, from all the data and stuff that's been gathered, like the people who join that, like there's no way that you don't see results there. And it will be left to, if you don't see results based on this program, like on this program, it literally has to do with you. Like there's no other option because everything is covered. Like what I will say is that it's hard work. It's a lot of tasks. There's a lot to be done. But the thing is that you're actually provided with all of the things to do. You're provided with everything to do rather than like guessing, right? So like, even though you might have like a one-on-one coach, be it me or Mick, you will still have all this stuff that you get to do on your own, and you get to report back, and you get to tell, like, this is working, this isn't working, this is how I pull back, this is how I don't pull back. Like it will be foolproof. If you do not find results, it's literally because you're not doing something that's being asked of you.
Yeah, if you get a client that comes in that says that they're not, that that they're not drinking enough water, they're eating the wrong foods, they're doing, that these are things to fix. That's easy. Those are easy quick calls to be like, this stuff needs adjusted. Now you get a client that comes to you that's already at 10,000 steps a day. It's already at a gallon of water, plenty of sodium, potassium, magnesium, everything. Even the diet is pretty much on point. Now find where their flare-ups and their issues are still coming from. That's where you get into the detailed part of all this stuff. And even then, it can be a 2 to 3 day turnaround to understand what's the cause of issue, where's the fix, and how do we move forward. And then from there, it's what, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a reason.
I mean,
for
it's
all
pretty,
this. It's why
the
it works.
process. Yeah. All the models that I've built out in the past, like, however, like week or so, like, this is just like, yeah, I'm not kidding you. Like, I know that the Potch coach does her thing and like a bunch of people, but like, I think that we can help people on a much larger scale because I've seen so many people, I've seen so many different cases. I've worked with some, like, you know, it's just like, yeah. And you have your knowledge that you bring to the table too, of all the experience that you've had. Like, there's not going to be a better program to join. There will never be a better program to join.
Yeah.
And a better time
And the
either. Like,
Potch
right now
coach
is the perfect
great. She
time.
does really good work.
She does amazing work. Yeah. I'll never say anything.
Yeah.
I know I've said stuff about her in the past, like some stuff, because I didn't agree with some of the things that she said. But yeah, she's definitely done some good stuff. So yeah. And then the other option that you guys have, go for it.
Oh, that's the great thing about, I think what makes the POTS community and progressing through POTS or other things so great is because there's so many different ways and tactics to do things, and there's so many different people who require so many different methods. So to cover POTS syndrome in itself, to have one person that's just qualified across the board isn't really possible. The same with like doctors. Like a doctor is going to treat 2 different ways at some point through their treatment because
Yeah.
they're different individuals, different ideas, different doctors. So it collectively as a community, I think all of us of POTS people really provide a strong value in our own way. And I think the POTS coach has done really well on capturing like what people need in the community and stuff, and provides really good work. I
Yeah.
think that with time, things get improved and built, and that's where I feel like this program and the things that Justin's built are more critiqued to certain stuff. You know, it's just a different way of addressing it.
Yeah, totally. I agree 100%. So yeah, guys, with that, also you'll have access to our community within the app where you know, it's going to be kind of different than the Reddit and Facebook forums. It's you know, it's going to be only positivity, share wins, different challenges throughout the week, stuff like that. I think that that's really important. And again, the 2 times per week live stream exclusive to the community. I think that that's really important too for questions and again to share wins and to be able to relate to people, all that stuff. So you're around some of the 5 people that you hang out with. And if you aren't around positive people or people who are thriving, then you're not going to be positive and you're not going to thrive. That's just period, point blank.
Right. Yeah. And
yeah,
you know,
dude.
like for me personally, when it comes to the group, having POTS is rough. You get reactive and emotional at times, and there's going to be times we'll work through that in the community and we'll all get through it together or individually or whatever. But there's a limit to that, because if we have that in the community, then we're affecting the community by what's there. So I want to either affect it in a positive way or not at all. So when it comes to negative stuff or say you're really struggling and stuff, send me a message, talk to me first before we get into the community and have this whole thing, you know, because I can tell you right now that me and Justin both have a pretty low tolerance for negative or baiting or any kind of just stuff like that. Like, we're
Any
not
bullshit.
looking to build that. Yeah, keep your bullshit at home.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, dude. All right. Well, who's still in the chat? Any questions? Ask some questions if you got some questions. Otherwise, we're going to let Mick go enjoy his day and get to his client, hang out, talk with his lady. got a couple people still here. So a couple of people still here. Ask us some questions. Give us a couple things to answer. And then that'll be it for the day. This live hasn't done too bad so far.
No, it's just the first one. I think
Yeah.
from here it'll be exciting. It'll be nice to
Oh no. He cut out, guys. He cut out. Looks like you're just stuck with me to answer questions for a second here. Go ahead and ask your questions, guys, because I am going to hop off a live soon. We are going to hop off a live soon. So ask some questions in the comments below. If you haven't yet, click that Facebook link. Go join the 14-day. He's out. Go join that 14-day challenge. I'm going to plug in a bunch of the resources by Wednesday, July 9th. There will be a bunch of resources for you guys. Again, I'll read them off to you real quick. The sleep reset guide. That's number one. If you don't have access to gene testing, here are the symptoms to look for the gene mutations that I think personally are most relevant to POTS syndrome, and how to fix them. Additional testing after you've been diagnosed with POTS that I think are really important to go get tested for. With the reasons why, because I think that, yeah, I'll just tell you guys some of these. Organic acids testing, and I'll tell you why in this resource when you get in the Facebook group. Mycotoxin, genetic testing, comprehensive stool analysis, heavy metal testing. All the reasoning for that will be in the Facebook group. We do the POTS reset. It's basically a 5-part challenge. 5 different things that are super helpful that you guys are going to have to do as a part of the challenge. The sleep and wake cycle, the hydration protocol, the movement protocol, the calisthenics protocol, and the food reset. That's all in there. You're going to get the POTS food elimination guide and food reintroduction. So food elimination and reintroduction guide, and then the POTS guide to steps. So I think that those are the most important things that need to be addressed when it comes to first fixing your POTS syndrome. And those are the things that we're going to provide you with within the 14-day free challenge. So I think that if you have POTS syndrome and you're serious about getting better, and you don't go in the Facebook group and do this challenge, you're not serious about getting better. Point blank, period. This is free information. Why would you not do it? It's a free challenge. It's free for you guys to go get better in 14 days. So why you wouldn't do it, not really sure. But so with that, hope you guys have a great day. It's July 5th. Yesterday was Independence Day. Hope you guys had a great 4th of July. See you guys in that Facebook group. We'll talk to you in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.